What's up, YouTube? Today I want to talk about how they hate us for our freedom. And they, of course, being most our politicians, Barack Obama, after signing the NDAA Act so that he can indefinitely detain Americans without fair trial, which I think is kind of a foundation of what makes America great. You know, you're not just going to get locked up in jail for no reason other than, I don't know, running your mouth about political stuff or something like that. But who really hates us for our freedom? I mean, it seems to me our freedoms are under attack right here in America. And it's not the Muslims or whatever overseas, you know, without their Air Force or their Navy to even come over here and get us. And the people overseas that do hate America, it's probably because of our foreign policy. And I won't even describe it, I'll just leave it at that. There's reasons that you can think about for why people might hate America. But we used to be a beacon of freedom. One of the few countries in the world that had the right to free speech. That's a novel concept. Be able to say whatever you want and not have some king or tyrant haul you off and torture you or whatever. I mean, it's kind of a revolutionary idea, but who do you think really hates it? Demagogues, you know, people that have to tell lies and rely on getting away with that for a living. And I made this Barack Obama will take our guns in his second term video back during the campaign for the presidential election, when it was pretty clear it was just between Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, and they weren't talking about real issues. And I feel like Mitt Romney got his fair share of criticism. And I don't like Mitt Romney. I think he's an idiot. I think he's a douchebag. I wouldn't vote for a Mormon, whatever. But I just thought, you know, Barack Obama's had 4 years, and he still's, you know, blaming it on George Bush and shit like that. And it's like, you need to direct some criticism at Obama. And I'm not happy about the way that Fast and Furious, like, you're going to arm some drug cartels down there. That's what our ATF is doing. Like, I don't like how that went down. I thought, let's talk about this. I don't like how Barack Obama doubled down on pretty much everything that I didn't like about George Bush's policy. And you can see it today with this NDAA 2013 Act, where we can just be indefinitely detained. The fuck's that? And I'll go one step further. As an American, I don't want my government detaining anybody, any international citizen, without a fair trial. I don't care if they throw the terrorist word around or some, you know, boogeyman, evil fucking, he did this or that, this or that. Prove it in court. And while we're on that subject, let's talk about 9/11, because this all comes back to 9/11, but there's people being tried down in Guantanamo Bay, which Obama promised to close fucking way back when, and it still is open. And a court judge right now, I'll put the links in the bottom, I should know his name, but whatever, just ruled that, you know, the people can't even bring up the defendants, I guess you would call them, but whatever, military combatants, whatever you want to actually call them, can't even bring up the torture or alleged CIA treatment that happened to them in Guantanamo. So who knows what they're actually testifying about? And when it comes to fair and public trials, why aren't they putting this shit on TV? Like, I think America has the right to see it, and especially with all this 9/11 truther shit going on, like, let's put an end to all these conspiracy theories, prove it in open court what happened. Like, oh, did these guys really plan this? Or, you know, were these buildings falling at free fall speed and one didn't even get hit by an airplane? Like, long story short, though, they want to have these trials only be viewed, you know, at a few monitoring areas on different military bases. Like, dude, I can't just drive down to some military base, and even if I did, would you let me in there without some CNN press pass from some corporate news network or some bullshit? Like, you're just going to let your everyday citizen off the street coming in there and be like, well, I got some questions about 9/11 that I want to, you know, see this trial, hear some answers. Like, they're going to release the transcripts or what? Like, why can't we hear what the CIA is doing to people? I don't want, as an American, I don't want anybody getting tortured. I think that's a good idea. Like, that used to be something Americans could be proud of. That used to be America, a shining beacon on a hill. You know, that used to be the kind of thing that other citizens would look up to America and want to come across the ocean and risk their life to have a better life here. You know, they were coming from places where they had tyrants or kings or, you know, rulers dictating what they could do. And here America was a shining beacon on a hill where you could say whatever you want. You could even own a gun. The Second Amendment should not be infringed upon. And now that, I'm going to, you know, this is whatever, part 2 to my movie from before. But here's what I would call it if I was just going to name this video separate. I'd call it Barack Obama's puppet masters will try to infringe upon your Second Amendment rights in 2013. Chose all those words carefully. That's not some conspiratorial bullshit. That's what's happening. Look at the news. Look at how Obama is using the bully pulpit. You know, he could be trying to balance the budget or something real popular that all Americans agree on. But no, he wants to, you know, restrict our rights to own guns. And how that's going to happen, who knows. But I'm sure, you know, if they make it so you can't carry more than like 6.5 bullets or some shit in your clip, you're not going to be able to kill a bunch of kids and then reload and do it over again. Or like, what practical law could actually have prevented that killing spree? You know, they fucking regulate the guns, people are going to take more guns in there. Like, there may be some practical laws, I'll give them that, but I don't like how it's being done. Like, the whole mental illness thing, like, you think you can just take guns away from people who are mentally ill at a time when people don't believe what the government's saying for various good reasons, and they're trying to label us crazy. Fuck that. The government's trying to detain citizens without fair trial. You know, if these 9/11 people did it, prove it in open court. Who's crazy? The one that doesn't want to show us what's actually happening? Or the people that have legitimate questions that aren't getting answered? And you know, if you're going to be detaining people, like, this is the closest America has ever been to, I don't know, turning back into what we fought a revolution to get away from over in Europe. And now's the time you really want to try to ban or limit our right to have certain kinds of modern rifles. Like, that's not how I want to use the bully pulpit if I was president. I feel like Obama is just being a fucking tool up there because he, I don't think, well, it's interesting about Obama. I mean, it appears to me he is controlled by puppet masters. And I really kind of wonder how much freedom American presidents have had, you know, especially since JFK, and we all watched that happen. Like, I don't know. But if these elections were fair, I don't think Obama would have got elected again. You know, if it wasn't Mitt Romney versus if it wasn't Mitt Romney versus Barack Obama, seeing who can bow down lower to Israel in the debates there, I don't think Obama would get elected. If he was forced to, you know, take credit for, like, you did double down on all Bush's policies here. What, we're flying drones over here? How many people died in these wars? Like, it comes back to 9/11. I would have liked to have had an investigation of why we went to war in Iraq and Afghanistan and the George Bush administration. If there were lies there, like, what happened? And Obama just came in, no, we're not going to do that. We're not even going to bring it up. He pretty much took the ball from George Bush and just ran with it. Because we just can get tried or detained without trial now. Like, what the hell is NDAA? You think this is the time to have a real talk about taking away, infringing upon our Second Amendment rights further? They're already infringed upon. Like, on top of that, I mean, guns is an industry. And if people want to buy them, America needs jobs right now. And if you're good at making guns, if you can make some rifle better than whoever, do it. Like, that's how I really feel like we need to be a pro-liberty, pro-industry. Like, guns are inanimate objects, and they're tools. You know, you could kill a bunch of people with a hammer, but it's the person who's using the tool that decides what happens with it. I mean, you could run over a bunch of people with a car, but we're not going to ban cars. I think it's clear that there is an agenda of people who want to take our guns away. I'll let you decide why they want to do it, but I don't like it. I think, you know, they all have different reasons. I think some of them are tyrants and people that are afraid of the truth, that realize with the internet right now, the government can't just keep lying to us. They cannot keep these covered up anymore. Like, information is just exchanging too quickly. So I kind of think a lot of people are in power, not to say that there's not good Americans out there who just think we'll be safer if we don't carry guns or we don't have, you know, 8 bullets in our clip or some shit, if you're not allowed to have more than 30 rounds. Or like, what actual regulations would stop this? You know what I mean? You want to have guns like neon green or day-glow green so you can see them coming? Like, what, really, what? It sucks when kids get shot up, and I still have questions about that. I'm not going to go there, but you can't regulate our society where the action of some idiot ruins it for everybody, especially when it's something so important as our right to defend ourselves from governments which throughout history become tyrannical. You know, I think I'm right, though. This is how Obama's using his bully pulpit to direct his, I mean, whatever. He could do other shit, but really, this is what America needs right now? More gun regulation? Are you kidding me? Even if this gun regulation comes through, how many more criminals is that just going to create? Like, they used to be respectable citizens, but now they're criminals, or I don't want to give up my guns because I'm a paranoid asshole or some shit. But it's just going to make people who weren't harming anybody or threatening anybody into criminals, which is probably going to put more people in prisons, which I don't think we can afford right now either. But let's look at the people in power that might have a reason to not want you to have a gun. Tyrants, or whatever you want to call them. International Zionist bankers. Whoever. Why don't they want you to have a gun? If it's anything like history, an armed population is able to defend themselves from tyrannical government. I think any move to stop people from being able to defend themselves is a push towards tyrannical government, and I think we're already headed in that direction in the first place. I think it was Mussolini defined fascism as the combination of corporate interests and government interests, or I don't know how you want to say that, but corporations and government. And after these last bailouts, like, where are we headed? I don't like it, and we need to really change this shit. I don't think gun regulation is going to fix anything. I think we need to have a real conversation about, I don't know, why are our troops overseas? Why are American federal tax dollars given to other country governments? Like, we're broke, we can't balance our government, and you want to take American tax dollars and give them away? Like, we're giving money to other governments, and we can't get the Sandy hurricane victims the help that I thought the federal government was supposed to be there for. I don't know what the federal government is doing, but I'm starting to think, if we didn't pay federal income taxes and we paid a little bit more to each our states, at least the states would be easier to hold accountable, to be like, well, do we got some disaster relief plan here or something? Like, they take care of the direct needs of the people more. And, like, the federal government is just waging war, doing stuff to make Americans hated around the world. Like, we need to get that in check. And Obama doesn't seem to want to have any of these conversations. That's why I made this video in the first place, because I wanted to talk about real stuff, not, oh, we just need to put some more kids through college and everything will be alright. Like, we could end the war on drugs, and that would save us a ton of money. Like, do you really want to balance the budget, or do you just want to go on with deficit spending and be a society that... So the question is, do you really want to be just a society that runs on debt and deficit spending, or do we want to try to, do this the right way? And I don't think Obama really gives a shit. I don't. But he may be torn between doing the right thing and not. I don't know. But let's think about the tyrannical bullshit here. What if they really do not want us to own guns because they're on some crazy shit? What are they going to do to get your guns, or what is the plan about? Do they really care about, oh, there's some Bushmasters out there with the rifles, or are they trying to destroy America? Is the absolute end of this agenda, like, we want to cover up free speech? We don't want people just being able to say what they want, post videos on the internet and talk about the governments or the tyrants or the politicians that are lying to them, or war crimes or anything. Because that's kind of the way I see it. And if that's really what the ultimate agenda is, they're trying to destroy America. What's the best way to do that? Probably have us destroy ourselves, a war from within and a civil war. What really could probably spark that? Trying to take away people's guns, I think, is going to really trigger some bullshit that a lot of people haven't thought through. Like, I think there's tons of just old bastards who are like, no, I know better than this, veterans and shit. Like, you're not getting my gun. Or guns, right? That's not what America needs. Like, I could go off, like, I mean, if you want to talk real school safety, if you're just going to lock a school down and not allow guns in them, why don't you have bulletproof glass in all the fucking school teacher, or the teacher classrooms or whatever, fortify the doors, so I mean, at least if we're going to hide in the corner like a bunch of cowards, there's bulletproof glass in between you and any idiot who walks in there with a gun. Locking down the outer perimeter of the school. I still want to know how we got through that locked door that was supposedly locked. I've heard mixed reports about, I'm talking to Sandy, about that guy shooting through a window or breaking some glass or whatever. Was the glass bulletproof or whatever? But there's practical steps we can be taking to keep kids safer. That's not what this is about. That's not what this is about at all. They want to restrict, they want to infringe upon your right to bear arms. Why? I'm going to throw it out here too, but while I'm on topic and just being crazy on the internet, right? If I was really trying to destroy America from within, I'd be worried about, well, who's going to defend America? Probably our military. So a nice step might be get them on the other side of the world where they're not here to protect the homeland. Are we there right now? I don't know where we're distributed exactly, but we sure got a lot of business over in the Middle East. And I'm an American citizen, not an Israeli citizen, so I don't really care about the Middle East, and I don't want my federal tax dollars going outside of America. I think most people agree with that. So you get the troops out of here, but if you really want to destroy America from within, you got to get a lot more of the troops out of here, and you got to reinstitute a draft. We've seen that before. Vietnam took place across the world, not in America. I just really wonder, Barack Obama's doubled down on everything else. Look at what's happening in the Middle East with Syria, Iran, and whatnot. They're both I think, doing business with Russia and China, like, there's some entangled alliances there, and really, we need to keep American troops at home. Because I don't know what these politicians are trying to do, and I really do think there's a group of people out there that doesn't like our freedom of speech and our Second Amendment rights, and a whole bunch of other American ideals that used to be a shining beacon of freedom. Good day.